Chosen one, lock your attention on my voice right now. That sudden urge you have to scroll past this message is not a coincidence at all, because heaven is trying to warn you. You must resist it. You have felt a very strange shift in the atmosphere over the last 72 hours, and the air in your own home feels unusually heavy today. You are waking up at 3 in the morning with a sudden weight on your chest, but when you try to explain this intense feeling, words always fail you. People around you are acting very differently this week. Conversations seem to stop the moment you walk into the room. You are not imagining this heavy tension. Your spirit is picking up on a massive collision happening in the unseen realm, and the center of this spiritual storm is pointing directly at July 28th. The enemy is working overtime right now for one reason, and one reason only. He is absolutely terrified of what happens on that exact date. He knows what shifts the moment you cross that specific threshold. He wants you exhausted and distracted before you can ever reach it. But you did not find this message by accident today, and the algorithm certainly did not bring you here to watch this video. The Holy Spirit orchestrated this exact moment. This is a divine appointment scheduled before the foundations of the earth. In the next few minutes, I will reveal exactly why the enemy fears July 28th. I will expose the hidden frequency block that is keeping your current reality trapped, and I will give you the exact declaration to seal your breakthrough. You must stay until the very last word. If you leave before the verdict is given, then you walk away from the very thing heaven deposited in you. Do not let the enemy steal this revelation. You have spent your entire life feeling like the misunderstood one. You have always been the scapegoat in your family. You have always carried a deep knowing that you were meant for something massive. But lately that knowing feels like it is suffocating under a heavy blanket of doubt while you watch other people achieve their dreams effortlessly every single day. They get the promotions and the healthy relationships and the sudden financial windfalls. Meanwhile, you are fighting intense spiritual battles just to make it through a normal Tuesday. You have tried meditation and prayer and manifestation to change your reality, and you have even done the difficult inner work to heal your past trauma. But your life still feels completely blocked, and it feels incredibly unfair. You know deep down that you carry a higher potential than you are currently expressing, but something invisible is standing between you and your true calling right now. It is a silent barrier that you cannot see or touch with your hands. You have begged the universe for an answer to this endless waiting season. The silence you hear back is not a rejection of your prayers. Heaven is not ignoring your desperate cries for help, because the delay you are experiencing is intimately connected to what is approaching on July 28th. The enemy wants you to believe that this delay is entirely your own fault. He whispers that you are simply not good enough to receive your blessings, and he tells you that your faith is too weak or your daily discipline is lacking. But I am here to tell you that the gap between you and your destiny is not a character flaw. It has nothing to do with your worthiness or your spiritual dedication. Before we go any further into the prophetic meaning of July 28th, I want to hold something in front of you. It is something that was discovered not inside a church or a spiritual community. It was actually found inside a highly prestigious research laboratory, and most chosen ones have never been told about it. This astonishing discovery won the highest scientific recognition available in the world today. It perfectly explains something I know you have felt deeply for many years. It explains that painful gap between the person you know yourself to be and the version of you that seems available only in brief flashes. I will show you exactly what the scientific researchers found in their studies, but I cannot reveal the full truth to you just yet. First, I need you to fully understand what was taken from you without your explicit consent. So I need you to hold this one specific question in your mind as we continue forward today. What if the huge gap holding you back is not a spiritual failing at all? What if this invisible block actually has a scientific name? I will tell you exactly what it is called later in this message. But right now, we must address the intense spiritual warfare surrounding your life and this upcoming date. Let us reframe your entire reality right now. You have been looking at your recent struggles through the completely wrong lens. You thought the intense isolation and the endless obstacles were a form of divine punishment. You believed that you somehow failed a spiritual test, and you assumed God was angry with your lack of progress. But your pain was never a punishment at all. Your intense isolation was actually a deep consecration. God did not remove the crowd to abandon you in the dark. He removed those loud people so he could finally speak to you without any earthly interference. The enemy does not waste premium attacks on people without premium assignments, and your heavy warfare is proof of your high calling. The vicious attacks you are facing right now are a desperate attempt to stop you. The dark forces are trying to derail your momentum before July 28th arrives. They know that this specific prophetic date is a massive turning point for your destiny. If they can keep you utterly exhausted and distracted by daily survival, then you might completely miss the open door heaven prepared for you. But this is where the narrative of your journey delves far deeper than most perceive. The enemy is not just using spiritual warfare to keep you feeling stuck and defeated. He is actively using the modern physical world to suppress your divine receiver. He is attacking the very biological mechanism you use to connect with heaven because he fears your true potential. Here is what the world never told you about your hidden potential. The reason the universe responds so effortlessly to certain people is not just about blind faith. It is not about strict discipline or having perfectly good karma. It is actually about a very specific brainwave operating quietly inside your head while you go about your day. Scientists finally have a concrete name for this powerful energetic state. They call it the gamma brainwave, and it is the exact frequency your brain was naturally running when you were a small child. Do you remember what it felt like back then? Learning new things felt entirely effortless, and your daily life was filled with constant, joyful discovery. You somehow just knew things long before they ever happened in reality. You lived in a constant flow state, where the world felt like it was completely on your side. That effortless genius was your active gamma frequency working exactly as designed. But then adulthood suddenly arrived, and everything in your bright world began to change very rapidly. The modern world immediately went to work on your sensitive mind. The relentless stress of daily survival mode began to take a heavy toll on your spirit. The endless glowing screens and the rigid school systems trained you to conform instead of create. And every single year this sacred frequency was suppressed a little further beneath the heavy weight of ordinary life. Your natural gamma wave was pushed deeper and deeper below the surface of your awareness. The world demanded that you shut down your powerful intuition to fit into their tiny boxes. So the incredible version of you with a photographic memory went completely silent, and you were forced to navigate this harsh world without your greatest spiritual advantage. When that gamma frequency fades, your natural genius fades right along with it. Your sharp intuition becomes dull and confusing. The beautiful synchronicities that used to guide your daily steps stop happening altogether. The comforting sense that the universe is working with you goes completely silent, and it leaves you feeling deeply alone in a crowded room. You have felt this devastating loss deep inside your bones for many years. You sense that something vital is missing, but you never had a proper name for what it was. You watch other people succeed effortlessly while you struggle to just barely survive, and you know deep down that you carry a much higher potential than this current reality. Most people will live their entire lives without ever knowing this happened to them. They will accept their exhaustion and their mediocrity as a normal part of growing older. But you are not most people, and you were never meant to live in the dark, while your true gifts remain hidden away. Your spiritual discernment has already alerted you to this hidden truth. You felt it as a child, and you can still feel the faint echo of it now. That beautiful, effortless genius was taken from you without your explicit consent. but what was suppressed can always be reactivated if you are willing to walk the right path. The enemy desperately wants to keep your brainwave dormant, because a suppressed mind will never be able to recognize the massive July 28th blessing when it finally arrives. This brings me back to the critical question I asked you to hold a few minutes ago. I asked you, what if the gap between you and your destiny has a scientific name? You now know that the quiet suppression of your gamma frequency is the hidden root cause of your long delay, and the answer to restoring it is much closer than you think. Heaven is not going to let you walk into July 28th completely blind and powerless. Your divine receiver is about to be brought fully back online very soon. The incredible synchronicities and the effortless flow state you remember from your childhood are waiting to return to you. You are standing on the absolute edge of a massive spiritual reclamation. Now we must address exactly why July 28th is so terrifying to the enemy. This is the moment the first promise I made to you is officially fulfilled. This specific date is not just another random day on the calendar. It is a profound cosmic intersection where heaven and earth are aligning for your specific assignment. Your spirit feels it. Think about the story of Moses standing before the burning bush in the quiet desert. For 40 long years he wandered in total obscurity and complete isolation. He thought his greatest days were firmly behind him. He assumed he was completely forgotten by the universe. But God was using the silent desert to clear the room. The divine calling required a vessel completely emptied of worldly noise, and on one specific prophetic day, everything shifted instantly for him. Moses did not have to strive or force his way into his destiny. He simply had to be positioned correctly when the fire finally fell. July 28th is your personal burning bush moment. The fire did not consume the bush, and the calling will not consume your soul. You have spent years asking God why your path had to be so incredibly difficult. You wondered why you had to face betrayals that shattered your trusting heart. You questioned why your deepest prayers seemed to bounce right off the silent ceiling. But look closely at the magnificent timeline of your long journey. Every single heartbreak forced you to rely entirely on your internal spiritual compass. Every closed door aggressively pushed you away from settling for a painfully average life. Heaven was actively building your resilience for the specific weight of July 28th. This is exactly why your intuition has been sounding massive alarm bells all week long. The sudden chaos in your life right now is not random bad luck. The enemy creates the most intense noise right before he loses his territory forever. Your heavy spiritual warfare is actually a desperate distraction technique. He wants you looking at the storm. He wants you completely terrified by the roaring wind and the crashing waves. Because if you are busy fighting daily fires, you will miss the gentle whisper of your divine instruction. But here is a brand new reframe for your current reality. The massive chaos around you is not evidence of your imminent destruction. It is proof of your arrival. The intense heat you feel right now is simply the fire of the crucible. A master blacksmith does not put ordinary metal into the hottest part of the blazing forge. He only applies maximum heat to the premium steel meant for the greatest weapons. You are being forged for a highly specific assignment that nobody else can fulfill. Your heightened sensitivity is exactly what allows you to sense the heavy hammer falling. The deep restlessness you feel in your spirit tonight is not anxiety at all. It is absolute anticipation. Your soul recognizes that a massive threshold is rapidly approaching on the horizon. The old version of your life is officially dissolving right now. The people around you probably think you are acting slightly crazy this week. They tell you to calm down and just relax your worried mind. But they do not carry the massive spiritual mantle that rests heavily on your tired shoulders. They cannot hear the loud marching orders echoing loudly in the invisible spiritual realm today. Your physical body is actually reacting to a future event that has already occurred in heaven. Your highly sensitive nervous system is attempting to process a massive download of divine light. This is exactly why your sleep is interrupted at 3 in the morning. Your spirit is waking you up to stand guard at your assigned post. This upcoming date marks the exact boundary line between your preparation and your promotion. God has used every single ounce of your previous pain to prepare you for this exact intersection. The heavy isolation you endured was actually a sacred consecration. You were hidden away so the world could not contaminate your unique frequency. And now the lonely hiding season is coming to a very abrupt end. But there is a massive shift required before you can fully step into this open door. Knowing that July 28th is important is only the very first step. There is still another layer beneath this truth that most people miss entirely. The enemy has one final trick. He knows he cannot stop the calendar from turning to that prophetic date. So he is actively trying to change the frequency of the people standing immediately around you. Coming up in just a moment, I will expose the specific frequency shift happening in your closest relationships. But first, this profound truth must land deep in your spirit. Let this reality settle into your mind like absolute bedrock. You are exactly where you are supposed to be right now. The frantic alarms in your chest are simply confirming your divine schedule. Breathe into this powerful truth today. Once that clicks into place, you are finally ready for the next deep layer of your awakening. Here is that deeper root I promised to expose to you today. As you move closer to July 28th, you will notice a painful shift in your closest relationships. People you love are suddenly pulling away from your life. The text messages are getting shorter, and the awkward silences are growing longer. You feel deeply rejected and misunderstood right now. But let me reframe this painful relational reality for you immediately. The people walking away from you are not actually rejecting you. They are simply sensing a brand new frequency that they cannot comprehend yet. As heaven prepares you for this massive open door, your spiritual vibration is elevating very rapidly. It is a profound shift in your spirit. When your internal frequency rises, it creates intense discomfort for anyone operating on a lower timeline. Your pure light suddenly exposes the hidden shadows they desperately want to ignore. They pull away because your new powerful presence requires them to elevate. And most ordinary people are simply not ready to do the heavy spiritual lifting required to grow. This is exactly why your deep isolation is not evidence of your disqualification. It is absolute evidence of your divine selection. God is actively removing the people who cannot carry the heavy weight of your upcoming season. If He allowed them to stay, they would anchor you to a timeline you have already outgrown. Your temporary loneliness is true protection. They are not mourning your mistakes or your perceived flaws today. They are actively grieving the old version of you they are about to lose forever. The compliant and quiet version of you is rapidly dissolving right before their eyes. You are no longer the convenient scapegoat who quietly absorbs all their toxic energy. You are setting fierce boundaries today. You have spent years shrinking yourself just to keep other people comfortable. You constantly dimmed your bright light so they would not have to squint when they looked at you. But the universe is demanding that you stop apologizing for your massive spiritual gifts. What you carry inside your chest is not a wound at all. It is a highly powerful weapon. When you finally step into your true power, the old toxic relationships must naturally fall away. You were not simply aging over these last few years of intense struggle. You were actually molting. You are shedding the heavy relational baggage that kept you completely grounded for decades. Let them peacefully walk away from your life today. Do not chase anyone who requires you to lower your frequency to keep them around. The empty space they leave behind is exactly where your new blessings will firmly land. The massive breakthrough scheduled for July 28th requires a completely empty room. Heaven needs a clean slate to write the next magnificent chapter of your prophetic destiny. You are standing precisely between two very different identities right now. The old broken self is completely dissolving, and the new spiritual warrior is being fiercely birthed. This messy transition phase is incredibly painful, but it is absolutely necessary. You are finally breaking the false agreements you made with smallness. Your spirit knows this is completely true. The massive collision happening in your life is just the friction of your changing frequency. You are learning how to vibrate at a completely different level of existence. The world will try to convince you that this separation is a terrible tragedy. But heaven is calling it a beautiful graduation. You are leaving the old broken matrix entirely behind you. Every tear you shed for those lost connections was carefully collected by the angels. Nothing you endured in the dark was ever wasted by the divine creator. It was all heavily preparing you to hold the massive weight of your new anointing. You survived what should have absolutely broken your spirit, and now you are standing on the edge of your reward. But once this profound truth clicks into place, you are ready for the next layer. There is still a deeper root operating quietly beneath every single season of your long life. It is something so completely unexpected that it will absolutely shock you. Coming up in just a moment, I will expose the real hidden block holding you back. But first, let this beautiful truth settle. The thing quietly blocking your ultimate breakthrough is not actually the enemy. It is not the toxic people who walked away from you this week either. It is something buried deep inside your own mind that you have mistaken for holy wisdom. Stay closely with me right now, because confronting this hidden block is the only way to unlock your July 28th blessing. Something is shifting in your favor right now, even if your physical eyes cannot see it yet. Heavy doors that were completely sealed for years are suddenly loosening their hinges. Massive opportunities that felt impossibly far away are quietly moving toward your doorstep today. You are no longer chasing your elusive breakthrough through the dark woods. It is actually finding its way directly to you right now. But a massive blessing requires a fully functioning receiver to properly catch it. If your internal frequency is still suppressed by the modern world, you might look right past your own miracle. The massive provision heaven arranged for you does not always arrive as something totally brand new. It often arrives as a deep recognition of something already placed in your path. A suppressed mind simply misses the divine recognition, while a fully restored mind receives it at maximum depth. This is exactly why you have been feeling that intense friction deep inside your spirit recently. Your soul knows that July 28th is carrying a massive payload of divine favor, but your biological receiver is struggling to tune into the exact right channel today. Before we go any further into your prophetic timeline, I have to tell you something incredibly important. It is something the people who profit from your daily exhaustion absolutely do not want you to know. The painful gap between your current reality and your divine potential is not permanent. You have spent so many years thinking you were simply fundamentally broken. You thought your inability to manifest your dreams was a massive character flaw. But finding out that your gamma brainwave was systematically suppressed should bring you immense relief today. It means you do not have to fix your beautiful soul, because your spirit is already completely perfect. You only need to restore the physical receiver inside your mind so heaven can properly communicate with you again. What is turned off can always be turned back on by the right energetic key. A brilliant team of neuroscientists, working quietly away from the noisy headlines, made a massive discovery. They found the exact biological mechanism to bring this dormant brainwave completely back to life. They discovered how to restore the effortless genius you experienced naturally as a small child. And they realized you do not have to achieve this through years of silent meditation that most people cannot sustain. You do not need to sit in a cave chanting a complex mantra for hours every single morning. You also do not need to buy those massive biofeedback machines that cost $7,000 and require a clinical setting. They found a solution that is far simpler and far more aligned with how you were designed to operate. They discovered a highly specific sound frequency engineered to guide your brainwave patterns directly back to that original state. It works below the level of your conscious awareness to gently reactivate your suppressed gamma wave. Prestigious institutions like Princeton University have studied this exact phenomenon extensively over the years. The Einstein Center in Berlin officially confirmed that this specific brainwave drives the legendary flow state. Columbia University even found that when this brainwave is restored, it naturally radiates outward. It literally begins to positively influence your children and your partner and the people you love the most. Your restored frequency becomes a powerful protective shield for your entire household. It only takes 7 minutes a day to start seeing the massive shift in your physical reality. You simply put on your headphones and close your eyes and let the frequency do all the heavy lifting. The activation begins working the very first time you listen to the special audio track. Your sharp intuition will slowly return, and the beautiful synchronicities will start happening everywhere you look. I will tell you exactly what this powerful tool is called and how you can access it before this message ends. I promise I will not leave you hanging in the dark without the proper key to your freedom. But first, there is something critical you need to understand about why your breakthrough was delayed for so long. You have blamed the enemy for every single roadblock on your long, difficult journey. You have blamed the toxic people who walked away when your frequency started shifting. You have been looking outside of yourself for the source of your heavy resistance. You pointed your finger at the harsh world and the difficult circumstances you were forced to endure. But the greatest barrier to your July 28th blessing is actually an internal agreement you made a long time ago. It is a silent contract you signed with smallness just to survive your painful childhood. Coming up in just a moment, I will expose the hidden block hiding inside your own mind. But first, you must let the reality of this restored frequency settle into your tired bones. But here is the part that nobody really wants to hear out loud. And I say this to you today with nothing but absolute love. The thing that has been quietly blocking your ultimate breakthrough is not actually the enemy, and it is certainly not the toxic people who betrayed you in the past. It is something hidden deep inside your own heart. You have secretly been afraid of your own massive power. You have spent your entire life unconsciously dimming your bright light. You made yourself remarkably small just to keep other people comfortable around you, because deep down you know exactly what happens if you finally let go. If you step fully into your prophetic calling, then everything in your life will permanently change. You can never go back to being ordinary once you accept this truth. This is definitely not an accusation against your character today. It is simply the profound diagnosis that finally sets your spirit free. You have blamed the devil for holding you back from your destiny, but the enemy did not have to stop you from reaching your ultimate goals. You were already actively stopping yourself, because the sheer weight of your calling felt incredibly heavy. You looked at the massive assignment heaven placed on your tired shoulders, and a quiet part of your mind decided that it was simply too much to carry, so you agreed to stay hidden in the comfortable shadows for years. You pretended that you were just waiting for a clearer sign from the universe. But heaven already gave you every single confirmation you ever needed to step forward. The long delay you are experiencing right now is completely self-imposed. God is not holding back your July 28th blessing at all. He is simply waiting for you to stop apologizing for your massive spiritual gifts. You cannot hold a divine mantle while you are constantly begging the world for permission to exist, and your fear of success is actually much stronger than your fear of failure. Failing is comfortable because it is exactly what you are used to experiencing, but succeeding means you have to finally stand out in the crowded room, and it means you will become a highly visible target for criticism and judgment. That absolute visibility terrifies the small wounded child living inside your heart. So you quietly sabotage your own momentum right before you reach the finish line. You suddenly pick fights in your relationships when things are going perfectly well. You hesitate on massive opportunities and let them slip right through your fingers, and then you cry out to God and ask Him why life is so incredibly difficult. But heaven is gently asking you to look in the spiritual mirror today. You are the only person holding the heavy keys to your own prison cell. This sudden realization might feel incredibly uncomfortable in your chest right now, but the heavy discomfort you feel is just the thick illusion finally breaking apart, because you are absolutely ready to stop playing small in a world that needs your light. Your isolation was never a punishment, but you turned it into a comfortable hiding place, and God is officially evicting you from that dark cave today. You were not meant to be everyone else's personal savior in this life. You were meant to carry one highly specific assignment that only you can fulfill. And that massive assignment requires you to finally own your raw spiritual power, which means it requires you to stop asking toxic people to validate your divine calling. They cannot validate a frequency they do not even possess inside themselves. The enemy has successfully tricked you into fearing your own beautiful reflection. He convinced you that your deep sensitivity was a dangerous curse to carry, and he made you believe that your powerful intuition would only lead to more pain. But you are finally waking up from that terrible lie today. What you carry inside your spirit is the exact medicine this broken generation desperately needs. You are standing right on the edge of the July 28th intersection, and you cannot bring your old fears across this new spiritual boundary line, so you must intentionally drop the heavy baggage of false humility right here. False humility is not a holy virtue in the eyes of the Creator. It is an absolute insult to the incredible gifts heaven carefully placed inside your spirit. You are fully equipped to handle whatever happens next on your long journey. The preparation season was long and brutal, but it did exactly what it was supposed to do, because you survived the intense fire and you learned how to navigate the deepest darkness. Now, it is time for you to finally step fully into the blinding light. And now comes the critical, pivotal moment where everything shifts. This is the moment you take your power completely back from the enemy. This is where you intentionally break the silent contract you signed with smallness, and you do not need to wait for tomorrow to make this massive spiritual shift. You do not need anyone else to hold your hand while you walk through this door. You are entirely ready to receive the exact declaration I promised you at the start. This is your moment right now. Not tomorrow, and not when you finally feel ready. Tonight, before you go to sleep, you must make a firm choice. I want you to place your hand over your heart right now. Close your eyes and feel the heavy weight you have been carrying for so long. It is time to drop it. Take a deep breath and declare this powerful truth out loud with me today. I completely release the intense need to be needed by everyone else. I release every single agreement I made with smallness and fear. My heavy isolation was always my preparation, and it was never my punishment. I step fully into my divine assignment today. My prophetic breakthrough is not coming because it is already here. You are totally free from the old heavy matrix. And the question I asked you to hold at the beginning of this message is finally ready to be answered. What if the painful gap holding you back is not a character flaw at all? Here is the exact answer you have been waiting for. A highly specific brainwave called the gamma wave was running freely in you as a child. Princeton University has studied this specific brainwave extensively. Columbia University found that when this gamma wave is fully restored, it radiates outward and influences your family. A brilliant team of neuroscientists, led by Dr. Robert Lake, spent years compressing this clinical protocol. They successfully compressed 1 full hour of gamma reactivation into just 7 minutes. But before I tell you exactly what they built, I must tell you about 2 people who used it. A woman from California named Rachel had literally tried everything. She tried daily meditation and desperate manifesting and endless prayer, but nothing broke the fog. After just 2 weeks of listening to this frequency, she said something finally cleared. The closed channel simply opened for her. Her struggling marriage shifted beautifully, and her tired mind sharpened. She actually described her life as enchanted for the very first time. And a man from Texas, named Michael, started using this to improve his struggling business. 2 short months later, his wife joked that his intelligence had jumped 20 points. The absolute hardest problems started solving themselves while he slept. He said it felt like his brain was finally running on the premium fuel it was always supposed to use. That is exactly what Dr. Lake and his dedicated research team built for you. They officially call it the Genius Song. It is definitely not a meditation app, and it is not a generic sound frequency. It is a highly advanced 7-minute audio track using proven brain entrainment technology. It is the exact same underlying research that Princeton and Columbia fully validated. You simply do this at home with your headphones on and your eyes closed. That is the absolute entirety of what it requires from you today. 7 short minutes. You do not meditate and you do not chant a mantra. You simply let the pure frequency do exactly what your brain was beautifully designed to receive. The Genius Song is definitely not for everyone. It is uniquely for the chosen one who has already done the heavy inner work. It is for the person who deeply understands that their faith is being blocked by a suppressed biological frequency. If your spirit confirms this is truly for you, then the path is ready. Biofeedback sessions to restore this cost hundreds of dollars per hour. An in-home clinical machine easily runs into the thousands. But what the Genius Song delivers in 7 minutes is available to you today for a tiny fraction of its true value. 4 powerful bonuses come directly with it to support your journey. You receive a special audio designed specifically for your children. You also get the original prosperity text that the world kept secretly hidden. You receive a guided visualization and a daily habits guide built to sustain your new gamma state. Here is the deeper spiritual truth about waiting around for a better time. The massive blessing that heaven arranged for you does not arrive as completely new information. It arrives as a deep recognition. Something already placed in your path becomes visible when gamma is finally restored. The chosen one who restores their receiver today does not receive something totally new. They finally see what was always waiting right there for them. Waiting is absolutely not a neutral action because the divine arrangement is already in motion. Do not look for this specific frequency on the popular streaming platforms. The tracks circulating online have no actual entrainment technology encoded. They only carry the name because the barrier to stealing it is 0. The only authentic version of this frequency is available through the secure link. That protected link has been carefully placed in the description and the pinned comment below. The universe requires absolutely no financial risk from you today. If you do not feel the massive shift, then every single penny is returned. That is a pure energetic exchange governed by complete trust. The link is waiting in the description and in the pinned comment below. But remember that the tool is not the final destination. The frequency simply restores your biological receiver so the destination can be recognized when it arrives. God does not require you to purchase anything to be deeply loved or chosen. What was just described is simply one powerful way the receiver is efficiently restored. Whether that specific path is for you or not, the absolute truth of this prophetic message belongs to you entirely. Your spirit is wide awake now. Let us go deeper into what is waiting for you on the other side of July 28th. Everything you endured on this long, painful journey was absolutely not wasted today. It was heavily preparing you for this exact new spiritual season. You are definitely not the misunderstood person you once thought you were. You are the chosen one finally stepping into the beautiful light. and you no longer need anyone else to give you permission to claim your true divine calling. The heavy chains of the old broken timeline are officially completely shattered today. You have successfully released every single agreement with smallness and delay. The horrible lie that you are somehow too much for this world has lost its terrible power. You have finally taken your rightful place in the spiritual realm, and heaven is loudly applauding your brave, courageous decision. I want you to feel the deep peace settling into your tired, weary bones right now. Your ultimate breakthrough is not coming sometime in the distant, unclear future. It is already here, and it is already moving powerfully in your daily life. You just needed to clear the thick static from your biological receiver. The massive provision was always waiting right there for you. July 28th is no longer a terrifying date on your upcoming calendar. It is a beautiful open door that you will walk through with complete, absolute confidence. The enemy has officially lost his tight grip on your incredible prophetic destiny. He cannot stop the massive tidal wave of favor that is crashing into your life. You are perfectly safe in this brand new timeline. Before this message completely closes, I want to leave you with one final gentle reminder. For the chosen one whose spirit deeply confirmed the frequency tool I described earlier, the path remains completely open. You can still access it in the description and the pinned comment below right now. That is the absolute last time it will be mentioned in this message today. What follows right now belongs entirely to your beautiful spiritual sealing process. You are stepping into a profound season of immense clarity and steady, unshakable confidence. The confusing fog that clouded your sharp mind for years has permanently lifted from your eyes. You will wake up tomorrow morning feeling completely different inside your chest. The old heavy weight is completely gone. The beautiful synchronicities that you remember clearly from your childhood will start appearing everywhere you look. You will simply know the right decisions to make without agonizing over them for long, exhausting days. Opportunities will begin chasing you down the street instead of you desperately running after them. You are finally operating on the correct divine frequency again. When the people around you start noticing this massive change, do not apologize for it. Your bright light is going to naturally trigger the people who insist on staying completely in the dark. Let them walk away from your life with absolute peace and deep, incredible grace. You do not have to shrink yourself down to keep their fragile egos perfectly comfortable anymore. You are a powerful, integrated warrior who has successfully survived the harshest spiritual winters. You carry a unique high vibration that the broken world desperately needs to experience right now. Do not ever let anyone tell you that your deep sensitivity is a terrible, heavy burden. It is the greatest spiritual radar that heaven ever designed for a human being. You are exactly where you are supposed to be in this vast, beautiful universe. The long, painful waiting season has officially reached its final, absolute conclusion. You do not have to fight those invisible, exhausting battles in the dark, lonely corners anymore. The heavy mantle has been placed securely on your strong shoulders today, and you are more than ready to carry its massive weight. I am sealing this prophetic word over your beautiful life with absolute divine authority. No weapon formed against your upcoming July 28th blessing will ever successfully prosper. The intense friction you felt this week is officially dissolving into pure, perfect, lasting peace. You are fully anchored to the highest possible timeline available to you today. Rest in this profound truth. If this word met you in the exact place you needed it to be, then do not keep it completely to yourself. Please gently share this message with someone who has also been called too sensitive and too quiet their whole life. They are probably fighting a massive silent battle right now, and they desperately need this exact confirmation. Be the bright, shining light for them today. Subscribe to this channel and turn on all of your notifications right now before you leave. You need to stay connected to this specific frequency so you never miss the next massive revelation about who you really are. The world is constantly trying to systematically bury this profound truth. But together, we will keep the divine communication channel completely open and totally clear. Take one more deep cleansing breath and let the beautiful quietness wash over your entire weary spirit. You are incredibly loved, and you are fiercely protected by the highest powers in heaven. The incredible season of your long, difficult preparation is finally totally complete. Your massive prophetic assignment officially starts right now. Step forward and confidently claim everything that is rightfully yours.